Good morning, everyone. Welcome to some more Choice of Rebels. Thank you for watching. I want to thank you folks who have been commenting and telling me to keep on going with this series. It is because of you that I am here doing this series, and I will continue it for you. So it's week 3. These decisions that we have been making have been kind of tough, and I don't know if it's just the game or if it's my poor decision making, but morale is not being boosted. So let's see if we can't figure this out. Hell's Day again, and the storms have relented at last. In the rare hours when the clouds part, you can see snow on the distant windish peaks. There's an even colder than usual edge to the air blowing down from the heights into your sodden camp. With fires once again banned, the winds cut right through whatever you're wearing. Hugging your ineffectual blanket tighter, you try to concentrate on what Breeden is saying. 2 camps in Nellis and Fardre have been accused of succoring Callen Oakfell and his rebel helots. Every grown helot was harrowed and the children sold away. Oh my word. You shiver for a few moments while struggling to bring your memory to bear. I've never heard of those towns. We've done nothing in them, Breeden confirms grimly. Doesn't matter to the Hegemony. This is their excuse to bleed the Outer Rim for all it's worth. I can't bear the thoughts of hundreds of innocents that were I can't bear the thought that hundreds of innocents were massacred in my name. That seems to be a natural. Excuse me, as early as 5:15 in the morning. Wake up and do these videos, but all this reading is tough this early. But yeah, I think that's the most natural response there. Guilty tears sting at your eyes as you struggle to regain control. At last, you trust your voice enough to speak. Anything else? Well, Breeden pauses. Thus far, we've been making a lot of decisions for the whole band, Captain. Just the 2 of us talking in the tent or a grove, with plenty of advice from Zvad. Is that how you want us to continue? It's one of the questions you rolled around your mind in the sleeplessly frigid nights. While most communities today have lost the old Sheridan custom of a village moot in which all yeomen had equal voice, they often retain an informal council of elders. Having just one leader responsible for all decisions is rare in practice, but it's the thaumatarchic ideal, and you all heard many homilies preached on it. While you no doubt continue making day-to-day choices as you have been, you prefer major decisions to be made. I think if we keep doing it, they say it's the thaumatarchic ideal. I don't think that's what we want, because that's what we're trying to overthrow. So it would make sense that we would let a group of key elders and leaders sort out major choices. So we'll see how that goes. Let's try that. Most villages and towns turn to a trusted group of elders when the time comes for a major decision, or at least as often for dealing with a major decision made by the hegemonic authorities on the village's behalf. People are more likely to accept a course of action set by multiple leaders. It forces potential rivals to share the responsibility for difficult decisions and the blame if something goes wrong. You have a number of Helot elders in the band. Your father, Gillian adds, Joanna Orchard, with years of experience to their credit, but you don't want them to dominate decision making. They'd likely be too cautious. Let's see who emerges as natural leaders during the winter, you tell Breeden. For now, we'll continue as we have been. While Breeden returns to the camp at the end of your meeting, you head downhill to see if any of your scouts from the rim have returned yet. On the way, you come across Penn Thatcher. Both of your faces drenched, but something in the way hers is trembling, and the haste with which she averts it tells you that it's not just the rain. When she sees it, you notice and stop walking. A huge sob convulses her small frame. My friend Callen, Captain. Just saw him with terror. Oh, Captain, he's so thin. He's coughing so much. I sweep up Penn in my arms and hold her while she cries. We're going to get Callen more blankets and food, I promise hoarsely. We'll save him. I tell her sternly that she's got to stay brave. I turn away, fighting the urge to howl. How can we start a rebellion when everyone's distracted by a village's worth of sick and dying children? We can't give him special treatment. We'll just hold her while she cries. The fierce young girl curls into your embrace like a much smaller child. At length the shaking calms, the sobbing breath even out. Why aren't you letting Radmar and the rest get us food from the nobles, Captain, or the fat traders? Pin's thin voice sounds as much lost as accusatory. We're all hungry, Captain, all the time. We give our food to the little ones so they don't get sick. I feel an overwhelming shame. I thought, never mind, Pin, I'll tell them they can raid us they wish. Because we're not thieves, I would reply firmly at once. Because we'll need those nobles and traders one day, Pin. It sounds hollow to my own ears, but I know it's the truth. Because that's how the Caragons work. It's what we're rebelling against. I don't want to be thieves. I don't... Because what's the point? Like, if we just rebel against everyone. Let's tell them because we'll need them one day. A rebellion that doesn't get beyond the helots and yeomanry, the Caragons would sweep it away like so much dust. We need all Shayardines with us. Pin doesn't reply until you're halfway back to camp. But not the children, she says softly. You don't need us, do you, Captain? Before you have time to think of an answer, she is running away from you. Oh, man. Golly, we are having trouble. At the start of the week 3, you send out the barley run. The band has around 12 bushels of grain in stock. You'll need to get that to 38 bushels before the end of the week if everyone's to eat at the rations you set. Your total wealth is 27 silver drachms and loot worth 22 more. That's enough to buy 3 bushels. You could fence some of your band's 16 forged arms for up to 50 bushels. You could also exchange at least one of your 14 mules for 43 bushels per animal. We need to keep those just in case we need to fight, so we'll fence 1 mule. The fences will give you goods worth 700 drachms per mule, much less than it's worth, but you're in a poor position to haggle, and that would be enough to buy more than 43 bushels of barley. We're going to give them 1 mule. Assuming the fence accepts the mule you're sending with the grain party, you should now be able to buy roughly 47 bushels of barley. How many bushels do you actually want to buy from the fences this week? Let's buy them all, man. Let's buy every last bushel. See if we can't get these people fed. Carrying back 47 bushels will require all of your 7 free pack animals and 23 outlaws. You worried that a group so large would have a greater chance of being spotted either by enemy scouts in the woods or airborne thurges. Zvad suggests you could probably carry back up to 42 bushels safely, or up to 57 if you reallocated 4 of the mules from the sick tents to the convoy. Every mule or person you add to that, Captain, will boost the risk of being caught. And angels know we can't afford to lose grain. The grain run. Hopefully there will be no one to attack us this week. If there's no one to attack us this week, then we can get all that grain back from the fence. Yeah, let's reallocate some mules, because if no one's attacked us, we can reallocate them back, I think. Terra protests, but you're reminded that unless you can safely bring back enough food, he'll have no need of any mules for winter's end. You choose how many of the 6 mules you reallocate on the grain run. I think he said 4, right? So let's do 4. With 4 mules now joining the grain run, your order of 57 bushels will require all of your 11 free pack animals and 11 outlaws. They trudge off into the trees. You just hope you'll see them again by Pyre Day. The scouts looking for a vulnerable tithe barn have found one with only a small deployment of Alistair guards. You've got 84 healthy adult bandits to commit this week. Your stores of 12 bushels plus the 57 you've ordered are enough for the band's appointed rations, opening up other possibilities for deploying your band. Terra informs you that the 50 followers in his care need at least 13 or 14 mules if they're to move quickly in a crisis. He says it with a note of despair in his voice, knowing as well as you do that you don't have that many. Okay, we need more mules. Always important. We're sending breeding. Do you want to leave the wild and beg for mules, or do you want breeding to do it? I want to send breeding. When you dip your return, she's got bags under her eyes. Not a mule to be found, Captain. Just a few drachms, and I can't say I expect next week to go better unless I get very lucky. Zvad and the rest of the old Windward band can't point to anyone else who's likely to help us. You've got 83 free followers. Yikes. Let's find mules that we can steal. You dispatch scouts to sneak through the shared rim looking for opportunities for a raid. You expect they'll be gone at least 2 weeks to find anything. While you await the scouts' return, are there any other ways you want to try acquiring mules? Nope. Work with local merchants, smuggle goods over the Windward Pass. Let's raid the winter grain barns in the lowland farm country. Well, with the band moving out to a new camp, there will be new barns in range of your raiders this week. Do you want to... Let's try it. Your scouts have identified another village tithe barn, which should stock more barley than you can carry away. It's a shame you don't have any uncommitted mules this week, but your outlaws can carry back enough to feed themselves at least. Do you want to send one of the band's better commanders to lead the fight against the barn's Alistair guards? I'll go myself. I haven't gone on anything yet. I want to go myself. This time, the nighttime clash with the Tithes Barn guards cost you 6 of your followers. You bring back 17 bushels of grain as well as 6 forged weapons from fallen Alistairs. Do you want to send scouts out to look for another Tithe Barn to raid? Zvad suggests that if you send out 10 outlaws, you might identify another target within a week or two. Let's try it. Let's look for some more. 28 healthy boys left. We're gonna have a lot of grain, which is nice. Let's hunt for some more grain. Or hunt for more stuff. Rabbits and small game. Let's send... I have 27 left. Let's send 10, I guess. Over the course of the week, your 10 followers scour the bit of the wild you're moving on. On average, each manages to bring back around 3 rabbits and other small game animals. It should save your food stores around 2 bushels of barley, and the hide should fetch 4 drachms. Cool. We decided that wasn't really going to work. Let's set more traps. We'll do 17 people for that. Or 18. We'll use 18. The children from your town lend an enthusiastic hand in camouflaging the stakes and pit traps. In the end, as many children outlaws go to work on the trap building. By the end of the week, more of the wilderness is prepared against intruders. Cool. You put all your healthy bandits to use. At the end of the week draws near, you and Breeden account for the 35 scouts on multi-week missions. 10 are looking for a vulnerable tithe barn, 10 are hunting for vulnerable temples and monasteries, 15 are looking for opportunities to steal mules from the Hegemony. At the end of the week, your food train returns, adding around 57 bushels to the 30 in your stores. By the end of the week, 7 more bandits are too ill to leave the camp, your sick bandits are languishing, and 1 has died. Another 3 children have fallen ill, and 3 of the sick children have not survived the week. In the coming week, 9 of your healthy bandits will be needed in camp to care for the sick and dying. When all is said and done, you now have 302 followers, down by a grievous 10 who have died in the past week, of whom 170 are too young and 31 are currently too sick to go on raids. Golly, nothing is helping. Oh, goodness. For you, the week begins shortly after midnight. Cold and worry have ruined your sleep, and your eyes flutter open at the sound of a footfall near your knee. You couldn't articulate just what about the silhouette above you is wrong, something in the stance or the movements, but you roll to the side as quick as thought, and a long knife grazes on your arm as a way to your bedroll. You seize your shadowy attacker's wrist and pull him after you. He topples forward onto the pallet, and you slam your head forward to where you hope his nose will be. The crunch sends his sparks across your vision and wrenches a burbling scream out of your enemy. He tries frantically to stab you again, but you grimly keep your grip on his knife. hand, and within seconds the other sleepers in your shared tent have swarmed over him, bearing him back and down. Who? You bark, hammering against your ribs as you stand. Who is it? There's no light to be had. The weather's been clear for a spell, and you haven't dared a fire in days. You reach down and roughly feel the assassin's face, battered, blood slick. Whoever it is too big to be breeding. Radmar's not so heavily bearded. Who betrayed us? It's not the traitor you were hoping for. Federal. One of the others suddenly barks. It takes you a moment to put a face to a name. One of the windward band. A hunter fled from the rim heath. A sudden vivid image of him deftly skinning a rabbit comes to you, and you feel your knees wobble. Let's ask him why. Why'd you betray us? Us? Damn you, Oakfell. You think you're part of us just because you pitch up in the woods and get everything fawning over you. The shadowy bandit curses and writhes against the other's hands. Best thing you could do for us to give us your corpse is sell to the swiving Alisters. You stare at the knot of outlaws pinning Federal down and know what you have to do. I kill him myself quickly and cleanly. Drag him out, you tell the others. In the moonlight, he's not a shadow anymore, just a battered man with an angry, frightened face. The other outlaws hold his back to a tree. You raise the long knife he tried to use on you and punch it between his ribs. For all the hours you've put into sparring, this is the first time you've actually killed another human being. But I've grown up regularly seeing people killed, and for years I knew the day would come when I'd do the same. I've waited my whole life to actually strike an enemy. I'm filled with a barely containable elation. My hands don't stop shaking for hours afterward. That seems natural, too. No matter how many times you return to the frigid stream that day, your fingers don't lose the sticky sensation or your nostrils the coppery smell. The look in Federal's eyes when he truly knew he was about to die. There's no word for that. You couldn't describe it if you tried, but it resonated with you. You could feel the horror yourself in the instant that you killed him, and now it won't go away. Just like me, he was just like me. When your outlaws continue to praise you for dealing so decisively with the traitor, you find yourself shouting at them and dangerously close to tears. You just want to forget Federal, and you don't know if you ever will. Well, I guess maybe that was a wrong choice, but it seemed natural. Breeden asks for volunteers to keep a watch on you at night. You're a bit concerned by how long it takes anyone to raise a hand, but from now on, anyone wanting to stab you in your sleep will have at least 3 guards to contend with. As the sun grows lower, you find yourself filled with a restless, unhappy energy. Walking around the camp to dispel it, you come upon Zvad and Radmar intent in conversation. They pause, glancing up as you approach. Radmar coughs and grimaces, clearly hoping you'll go away. Let's see. What do we want to say? Let's ask him how's pork. I don't remember who that is, but let's ask him. Starving, Radmar retorts bluntly. How are you, Captain Oakfell? Hungry like everyone else, you fold your arms, take a deep breath. I'm sorry we don't have the food to raise rations for the sick. Not half as sorry as the sick are, the big youth glares at you. Was there something you wanted? Zvad coughs reproachfully at him. Captain Callen, we were just talking about how to arm ourselves better for raids into the rim. Well, keep it up then. Any desire you've had for conversation was evaporated in the face of Radmar's open hostility. You stumble off into the growing dark, wondering if you'll find the next Federal there. You begin the week without enough drachms to make a barley run worthwhile. Your current wealth wouldn't bring back even a single bushel. The other outlaws are reassured that you have enough food to carry the band through the week, but nervous at your lack of wealth. Your 10 scouts searching for a temple have identified one only a short distance in the civilized rim. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for watching this video. We will do the next week in the next one, so be sure to come back then and watch. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. We can chat. In the meantime, I love you very much. Bye-bye.